But tourism continues to trend down here in southern Nevada.
Particular trip that it seems to be less crowded than normal. We usually come on Labor Day weekend.
I said something to her about it, that it just doesn't seem that busy for being a holiday weekend.
Because it's a long weekend, I feel like it should be I would assume it would be a little busier, yeah.
What if I told you that booking a trip to Las Vegas in 2025 is basically lighting your money on fire while someone laughs in your face? Harsh? Maybe. But stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why millions of would-be visitors are canceling their Vegas plans, and why those who still go are coming home angry, broke, and swearing never to return. Las Vegas used to be the ultimate escape. Cheap rooms, free drinks, affordable buffets, and the electric promise that anything could happen. Today, the city has transformed into something unrecognizable. A corporate extraction machine dressed in neon lights, designed to squeeze every last dollar from anyone naive enough to walk through its doors. The numbers tell a damning story. Visitor satisfaction has plummeted. International arrivals have collapsed. Even domestic tourists are choosing alternatives over the Strip. And the complaints flooding social media paint a picture of a city that has forgotten what made it special in the first place. In this countdown, we're breaking down exactly why visiting Las Vegas in 2025 has become a fool's errand. We're talking about the hidden fees that ambush your wallet, the rigged games that steal your chances, the vanishing service that insults your intelligence, and the social decay that haunts every corner beyond the neon glow. Trust me, the reasons go far deeper than you think. And by the time we reach number 1, you'll understand why smart travelers are saying no to Sin City. Number 9, the bait and switch pricing nightmare. Picture this. You're planning a weekend getaway. You find what looks like a steal online. A room at a decent Strip property for $120 a night. You book it, feeling clever, maybe even a little smug. Then you arrive, check in, and suddenly your bill has ballooned to $230 before you've even touched the minibar or ordered room service. Welcome to modern Vegas math, where the advertised price is just the opening bid in a game rigged against you. Resort fees alone now run between $40 and $60 per night at most Strip properties. These mandatory charges get tacked on after you book, hidden in the fine print like a legal pickpocket waiting in the shadows. And what do you actually get for this so-called resort fee? Access to Wi-Fi that barely streams video, a gym you'll walk past but never use, and maybe a newspaper that nobody under 60 reads anymore. The Federal Trade Commission has called these fees deceptive. Consumer advocates have demanded transparency, yet somehow, year after year, the charges keep climbing while the justifications grow thinner. But the gouging doesn't stop at your room. Parking your car, something that was free for decades as a basic courtesy to get you through the doors, now costs $20 to $50 daily, depending on the property and whether you want self-parking or valet. That's potentially $350 just to leave your car somewhere during a week-long trip. Feeling hungry after that drive? Here's where it gets really painful. Food prices on the Strip have exploded nearly 50% since 2015. That casual lunch you budgeted $40 for? It's now $70 after the mandatory service recovery fee, the concession charge, and the inflated gratuity suggestions that start at 22%. The viral horror stories write themselves. $30 for a bagel and coffee at a Fountainside cafe. $25 for the privilege of using real silverware instead of plastic at certain MGM restaurants. $9 for a single bottle of Diet Pepsi from a convenience store inside a casino. $20 for a basic vodka and Red Bull at a Strip bar. These receipts get photographed, posted, shared, and commented on millions of times. Every overpriced cocktail becomes a cautionary tale. Every ridiculous surcharge becomes evidence in the court of public opinion. The reputation damage is real, measurable, and spreading faster than any marketing campaign can counter. Here's what the casinos don't seem to understand, or maybe they understand and simply don't care. When visitors feel cheated before they've even unpacked their bags, something fundamental breaks. They don't come back. They tell their friends to stay away. They post warnings in travel forums. And slowly but surely, the pipeline of eager tourists dries up. The math is simple. A visitor who feels welcome spends freely and returns often. A visitor who feels scammed spends cautiously and never comes back. Vegas has chosen the second path, and the consequences are becoming impossible to ignore. But if you think getting fleeced at checkout is frustrating, wait until you step onto the casino floor, where the games themselves have been quietly redesigned to take your money faster than ever before. Number 8. The casino floor con job. Remember when Las Vegas actually gave gamblers a fighting chance? When the house edge was reasonable, the tables were accessible, and even a casual player could dream of a lucky streak? Those days are dead and buried beneath a pile of corporate greed. Let's start with blackjack, the game that built this city's fortune. A decade ago, you could walk into almost any casino on the Strip, find a $5 or $10 table, and play 3-2 blackjack with reasonable odds. The atmosphere was welcoming. Dealers chatted with players. Strangers bonded over shared wins and losses. It felt like entertainment, not extraction. Today, good luck finding anything under $25 on the Strip during peak hours. Many properties have pushed minimums to $50 or even $100 at prime tables. And that classic 3-2 payout that made blackjack worth playing? It's been shoved into exclusive high roller rooms with $100 minimums and velvet ropes. What replaced it across the main floor is 6-5 blackjack, a seemingly small change in payout structure that nearly triples the house edge. Most casual players don't even notice the difference when they sit down. The rules look the same, the cards feel the same, but their winning hands are paying significantly less, and over time, that mathematical disadvantage compounds into real money lost. It's not gambling anymore in any meaningful sense. It's a math equation carefully designed to ensure you lose faster while feeling like you're having the same experience your parents had. Roulette took the same corporate scalpel to its odds. The 00 American wheel was already tilted toward the house compared to European single-zero games. But that apparently wasn't profitable enough. Now 000 roulette is spreading across the Strip, adding yet another losing pocket to the wheel and pushing the house advantage past 7%. To put that in perspective, you might as well hand your money directly to a pit boss and skip the pretense of playing. At least that would be honest about what's happening. And here's the part that really stings for anyone who remembers what Vegas used to feel like. The human element is vanishing from the casino floor. Instead of live dealers at individual tables, casinos are rolling out electronic terminals and hybrid games where one dealer manages dozens of digital screens simultaneously. From a corporate spreadsheet perspective, it makes perfect sense. Fewer employees means lower payroll costs. Automated systems don't need health insurance or retirement benefits. The efficiency gains are significant and immediate. But from a player's perspective, it strips away everything that made casino gambling feel like an experience rather than a transaction. The banter with dealers disappears. The camaraderie around a hot table evaporates. The subtle human moments that created stories worth telling vanish completely. You're not playing against Vegas anymore in any romantic sense. You're feeding money into an algorithm that never blinks, never laughs at your jokes, never shares a knowing look when the dice are hot. The soul has been optimized out of existence. The consequences show up in the complaints, flooding travel forums, and review sites. Visitors don't leave with stories of lucky streaks and wild nights anymore. They leave feeling like marks who never had a chance, suckers who walked into a trap disguised as entertainment. When the illusion of fairness dies, so does the city's fundamental appeal. Because Vegas was never really about winning. It was about the dream of winning, the possibility, the excitement of the unknown. Take that away, and you're left with nothing but math that doesn't favor the customer. But the degradation of the gaming experience is only part of the story. Because even if you avoid the tables entirely, you'll notice something else has changed dramatically in Vegas, and it hits you the moment you need help with anything at all. Number 7. Service has left the building. Picture this. You're paying $400 a night for a Strip hotel. You pull up to the entrance with luggage, expecting the classic Vegas welcome that movies and memories promised. The grand arrival, the helpful staff, the sense that you've entered somewhere special. Instead, you find no bellhop, no porter, nobody at all to help you drag your bags to the elevator. The bell desk has been eliminated entirely. A sign directs you to a luggage cart area where you can serve yourself. Welcome to the new hospitality model, where you pay luxury prices for budget airline treatment. The layoffs and cutbacks have gutted the Vegas experience from the inside out. Major casino operators have merged job positions and eliminated entire departments, forcing single employees to handle work that used to require 3 or 4 people working together. The math might look good on quarterly reports, but the reality on the ground is chaos disguised as efficiency. Buffet servers now double as bucers, rushing between clearing plates and refilling drinks for dozens of tables. The quality of attention has collapsed. You're paying $60 to $100 per person for a meal experience that feels understaffed and overwhelmed. Concierge desks, once staffed with knowledgeable locals who could secure reservations, recommend hidden gems, and solve problems with a phone call, have been replaced by apps and chatbots that struggle to understand basic questions. Need restaurant recommendations? Talk to your phone. Having an issue with your room? Submit a digital request and wait. Front desk lines stretch longer than ever because staffing has been slashed to skeleton crews. Check-in processes that used to take minutes now consume half an hour or more. The frustration builds before you've even reached your room. At some properties, housekeeping now requires a special request rather than daily service. At others, room service has been eliminated completely or reduced to such limited hours that it might as well not exist. The little touches that once made visitors feel pampered and valued have been stripped away one by one in the name of cost optimization. And the workers who remain? They're stretched impossibly thin, often handling twice the workload for the same pay while facing guests who are increasingly frustrated and demanding. You can see it in their eyes, the exhaustion, the stress, the look of someone drowning while being told to smile. The cruelest irony is that these cuts don't just hurt tourists. They devastate the local workforce that built this city. Hospitality jobs were the backbone of Las Vegas for generations, providing middle-class stability for hundreds of thousands of families. A dealer, a server, a housekeeper could own a home, raise kids, build a life. As those positions disappear or get squeezed into impossible workloads, the economic pain ripples through entire neighborhoods. Less spending at local businesses, more families struggling to make rent. More people forced to choose between Vegas and somewhere that still values their labor. The city is hollowing itself out in pursuit of short-term profit, and the guests are starting to notice that the magic they once felt has been replaced by something cold and transactional. When you strip away the service, you strip away the soul. A robot can process your check-in, an app can take your dinner order, but neither can make you feel welcome, valued, or special. And without that feeling, what exactly is Vegas selling? But service cuts are only one symptom of a larger disease eating away at the Vegas experience. Because the choices that once defined this city, the endless options, the variety, the sense that anything was possible at any budget, those are disappearing too. Number 6, the incredible shrinking Vegas experience. Once upon a time, Las Vegas meant abundance. Overwhelming, ridiculous, glorious abundance. Buffets stretched the length of football fields, piled high with prime rib, crab legs, shrimp cocktail, and dessert tables that seemed to go on forever. The message was clear. In Vegas, there's always more. More food, more fun, more possibilities. Dozens of affordable afternoon shows offered entertainment for every taste and budget. Magic acts for $15. Comedy shows for $20. Hypnotists, musicians, variety performers filling small theaters across the Strip. You could stumble into something delightful without planning or spending much at all. That version of Vegas has been quietly dismantled while everyone was distracted by the neon lights. The legendary buffets are mostly gone now. Properties that once competed to offer the most extravagant spreads have shuttered their feeding halls or converted them to different concepts. What remains are a handful of mega operations charging $60 to $100 per person, with limited hours, restricted menus, and lines that make you wonder if the experience is worth the investment. The all-you-can-eat extravagance that once symbolized Vegas excess has been replaced by carefully designed food halls. These sound modern and appealing in marketing materials. In reality, they're standardized collections of counters charging $20 to $50 for a single meal. The variety is an illusion. The prices are uniform. The experience is forgettable. Entertainment tells the same sad story of contraction. Those quirky afternoon magic shows that cost $15 with a coupon from a tourist magazine? Extinct. The mid-tier productions at $30 or $40 a ticket that gave visitors options beyond the mega shows? Increasingly rare, struggling, or gone entirely. What's left are $150 Cirque du Soleil tickets and $300 seats for residency headliners. Bringing a family of four to see a show now requires budgeting $500 to $800 or more just for admission. That's before parking, dinner, or the overpriced drinks you'll need to enjoy the performance. Even the nightlife scene has narrowed dramatically. Competition that once kept prices reasonable and options diverse has given way to a handful of mega clubs controlling the market. Bottle service starts at $500. A basic cocktail costs $25. The velvet rope mentality that was once limited to exclusive venues has spread everywhere. This matters because choice was the engine of the Vegas dream. It's what made the city work for everyone. Families could tailor their trip around their budget, finding entertainment that fit their means. Young couples could stumble into affordable adventures on a whim. Retirees could enjoy variety without financial stress. The construction worker from Ohio and the surgeon from Manhattan could both find their version of Vegas. Now everyone gets funneled toward the same expensive options, or left with nothing but slot machines and overpriced food courts. The stratification is complete. Vegas has decided it only wants wealthy visitors, and everyone else can stay home. The spontaneity that once defined a Vegas trip has been engineered out of existence. Every moment feels calculated. Every option seems designed to separate you from maximum dollars. The joy of discovery has been replaced by the anxiety of avoiding traps. But the squeeze on choices and service might not even be the worst part. Because basic economics are finally catching up with the Strip, and the numbers paint a picture of a city in serious trouble. Number 5. The math doesn't work anymore. Here's a contradiction that should make every casino executive nervous, every investor suspicious, and every city planner alarmed. Despite charging 26% more for hotel rooms than before the pandemic, Strip occupancy is actually lower than it was in 2019. Not higher, lower. Think about that math for a moment. Major properties have closed. The Mirage is gone. The Tropicana was demolished for a baseball stadium. Supply of hotel rooms has decreased significantly. Meanwhile, prices have climbed dramatically. In any rational market, reduced supply plus increased demand should equal higher occupancy and satisfied customers willing to pay premium prices. That's economics 101. Instead, occupancy rates have dropped from 95% to around 85%. Fewer rooms exist, yet fewer people are filling them. The market is sending a clear signal that Vegas refuses to hear. Visitors are walking away. The same imbalance shows up everywhere you look. Food prices have climbed nearly 50%, yet restaurant traffic is soft and properties are quietly offering dining credits to fill empty tables. Entertainment costs have doubled, yet shows report increasing numbers of empty seats and last-minute discount offers. The Strip keeps raising prices while hemorrhaging the very customers those prices are supposed to attract. What's happening is textbook economic self-destruction. When prices climb faster than perceived value, demand collapses. When the experience degrades while costs increase, rational consumers seek alternatives. And that's exactly what the data shows happening in real time. International visitation has dropped sharply. Asian tourists who once flooded Vegas by the millions are choosing Tokyo, Singapore, or Macau instead. European visitors are finding better value in Mediterranean destinations. The strong dollar makes America expensive, and Vegas specifically feels like the worst deal of all. Domestic travelers are discovering alternatives too. Regional casinos in Arizona and New Mexico offer similar games with better odds and lower fees. Tribal properties in California provide entertainment without the Strip's premium pricing. Even smaller Nevada towns like Laughlin and Reno are capturing visitors who simply refuse to pay what Vegas demands. The feedback loop is vicious and accelerating. Gouge guests, lose guests. Raise prices to compensate for lost revenue. Lose even more guests. Every quarter, the strategy becomes more desperate. Every price increase drives away more moderate spenders. And here's the kicker that should terrify Vegas boosters. Every tourist who shares a photo of a $9 soda becomes an anti-ambassador. Every viral receipt showing outrageous charges reaches millions of potential visitors. Every Reddit thread warning about the Vegas scam changes someone's travel plans. If enough people stop coming, economics will eventually force a reset. Prices will have to drop. Occupancy will demand it. But until then, Vegas is trapped in a death spiral of its own making, squeezing fewer visitors for more money while watching its reputation crumble in real time. But economics only tells part of the story with cold numbers and trend lines. Because behind the spreadsheets and occupancy rates, there's a human cost that Vegas would rather you didn't see or think about. Number 4. The city behind the curtain. Walk a few blocks off the strip in any direction, and the fantasy dissolves faster than a free drink offer. The homeless population in Las Vegas has surged past 6,500 people, representing one of the highest per capita rates of homelessness in the entire country. The encampments are impossible to miss once you leave the carefully patrolled tourist corridors. Tents cluster under overpasses. People sleep in doorways of abandoned businesses. Families with nowhere else to go make their homes in vacant lots. And these aren't just transients passing through on their way somewhere else. Many are former service workers, casino employees who lost jobs during cutbacks, renters who got priced out when rents climbed past $1,500 for a basic one-bedroom apartment, people who did everything right and still ended up on the street because the city they helped build decided they weren't worth keeping. The contrast hits visitors like a physical blow. You might pay $20 for a watered-down cocktail at a strip casino, surrounded by marble and crystal and the illusion of limitless luxury. Then you step outside and pass someone begging for change on the same block. Their belongings in a shopping cart, their hope long gone. That cognitive dissonance sticks with people. It transforms the escapist fantasy into something uncomfortable and hard to shake. How do you enjoy excess when desperation is visible everywhere? Crime statistics add another layer of unease to the visitor experience. Las Vegas consistently ranks in the top 20% of metropolitan areas for violent crime, property theft, vehicle break-ins, assaults, and scams targeting tourists have all increased in recent years, particularly around the main corridors where visitors concentrate. Walk down certain stretches and you'll encounter aggressive street performers demanding tips, fake monks pressing for donations on pedestrian bridges, hustlers working every angle from three-card Monte to fake charity collections to more sophisticated cons. The Strip has become less a place of wonder and more a gauntlet of petty predation. For tourists who came expecting an escape from their problems, Vegas increasingly feels like trading familiar troubles for unfamiliar dangers. That's not the vacation anyone signed up for. The irony cuts deep enough to draw blood. The same industry that built Las Vegas, that made it famous and prosperous, created this mess through its own choices. By slashing jobs to boost quarterly earnings, casino corporations eliminated the stable employment that kept communities healthy. By raising housing costs without raising wages, they priced out the very workers they depend on. By gutting service positions, they removed the human touch that made visitors feel welcomed. The gap between what locals earn and what it costs to survive in this city has become a canyon. Service workers who once lived comfortable, middle-class lives now struggle to afford rent. Young people who might have built careers in hospitality look elsewhere for opportunity. For every shiny new casino renovation, there's a neighborhood struggling with poverty, addiction, and despair. For every billion-dollar profit announcement, there are families choosing between food and medicine. The wealth generated by Vegas stays at the top while the costs spread across everyone below. For tourists, this social unraveling creates memories they'd rather forget. Every encounter with desperation undercuts the escapist promise Vegas has always sold. Every visible sign of struggle makes that $500 hotel bill feel obscene rather than luxurious. A city that forgets its own people eventually becomes a city that tourists don't want to visit. The warning signs are everywhere for anyone willing to look. But if homelessness and crime feel like problems you might avoid by staying in the right areas, the next issue on this list affects everyone who visits, regardless of where they stay or what they do. Number 3. The incredible disappearing free drinks. For generations, one promise defined the Vegas gambler's experience. Play the slots, play the tables, and the drinks flow free. It was the ultimate symbol of casino generosity, a thank you for your patronage that made losing feel a little less painful and winning feel even sweeter. That promise has been quietly broken. Today, many casinos use sophisticated tracking systems and drink monitoring programs that analyze exactly how much you're betting before authorizing a cocktail server to bring you anything. The algorithms calculate your theoretical loss to the house and decide whether you've earned a $7 watered-down vodka cranberry. If you're playing low-stakes slots or taking your time at a cheap table, that free drink might never arrive. You'll see servers walking past, serving others, somehow never noticing your raised hand or empty glass. It's not rudeness, it's policy. Some properties have implemented voucher systems that make the calculation explicit. Play enough, earn a voucher, redeem it for a drink. The transactional nature is right there in the open, stripping away any illusion of hospitality. The drinks that do arrive have changed too. Bartenders report being instructed to pour light, stretching bottles further to improve margins. Premium liquors that were once available free to players have been removed from complimentary service entirely. Want something better than well vodka? You're paying for it regardless of how much you're gambling. For visitors who grew up hearing stories about Vegas generosity, who watched movies where drinks appeared magically and endlessly, the reality feels like betrayal. You're already losing money at games with terrible odds, and the house won't even soften the blow with a decent cocktail anymore. The psychological impact matters more than the dollar value of any individual drink. Free drinks were never really about the alcohol. They were about feeling valued, appreciated, welcomed. They were about the casino saying, "We're glad you're here, and we want you to have a good time." Taking that away sends a different message entirely. One that says you're just a revenue source to be optimized, not a guest to be entertained. But disappearing drinks might seem minor compared to the next issue. Because Vegas has also quietly rigged the math on something visitors rarely think about until it's too late. Number 2, the ATM trap and cash squeeze. Picture this. You've been playing for a couple hours. Maybe you're up, maybe you're down, but you're having fun and you want to keep going. You head to the casino ATM to grab more cash. Then you see the fee, $8.99, sometimes $10.99, just to access your own money sitting in your own bank account. That's before your bank charges its own out-of-network fee on top, before the currency conversion if you're an international visitor, before the cash advance fees if you're desperate enough to use a credit card. Pulling $200 from a Vegas casino ATM can easily cost you $15 to $20 in combined fees. For context, the national average ATM fee is under $5. Vegas has quadrupled it because they know you're a captive audience with few alternatives. The machines are everywhere, glowing green like beacons in the desert, strategically positioned at the ends of casino floors, near the cage, next to the bathrooms. Anywhere you might find yourself needing cash. Their placement isn't about convenience. It's about maximizing the moments of desperation when you'll pay anything just to keep playing. Want to avoid the ATM fees with a cash advance on your credit card? The costs are even worse. Fees starting at 5% of the transaction, plus instant interest charges from your card company. A $500 advance might cost you $50 in immediate fees, plus growing interest you'll pay for months. Even check cashing services inside casinos have raised their rates, sensing the opportunity to extract more from visitors who arrived unprepared. The irony is brutal and obvious. Vegas, a city built entirely on getting you to spend freely, now charges you a premium just to access the money you're planning to lose anyway. It's not enough to take your gambling losses. They want to cut before the game even starts. The consequences ripple through visitor behavior in ways casinos probably haven't fully calculated. Tourists who hit an ATM once and see that fee learn their lesson immediately. They either cut their gambling short or switch to low-spend activities outside the strip. The aggressive extraction that's meant to maximize revenue per transaction actually reduces total revenue per visitor. Smart travelers now warn each other constantly on Reddit and travel forums. Bring cash with you or the ATMs will rob you before the slots get a chance. That advice spreads, changes behavior, and ultimately costs casinos far more than they're gaining from those predatory fees. But even the ATM trap pales in comparison to the final and most devastating reason that smart travelers are abandoning Las Vegas. Because the human connection that once made this city magical, the soul that powered the dream, is being systematically erased. Number 1. The death of the Vegas soul. Casinos used to feel alive in a way that's hard to describe if you never experienced it. The crack of cards on felt, the excited roar when dice hit a hot number, the collective groan when the dealer pulled blackjack, the banter between players who'd never met but somehow became friends over a few hours and shared drinks, the dealer who remembered your name, asked about your trip, genuinely seemed to care whether you were having fun. That human electricity was the magic dust that kept people coming back year after year, decade after decade. People didn't return to Vegas just for the gambling. They returned for the feeling, the sense that anything could happen, the connection with strangers, the stories they'd tell for years afterward. In 2025, that magic is being methodically killed by corporate efficiency experts who understand spreadsheets but not souls. More and more properties are replacing live dealers with automated terminals and hybrid electronic games. The economics are irresistible to executives. Instead of 4 dealers managing 4 blackjack tables, one employee now oversees a room of 50 players staring at screens. Labor costs plummet, benefits disappear, margins improve. To actual human beings sitting at those terminals, it's a tragedy playing out in slow motion. The room feels sterile, quiet, dead. The social spark that made gambling fun rather than merely addictive has been extinguished. You're not playing against Vegas anymore in any meaningful sense. You're feeding money into an algorithm that never blinks, never laughs at a bad beat, never shares a moment of genuine human connection. The entire experience has been reduced to pixels and payouts. You might as well stay home and gamble on your phone. At least then you wouldn't have paid for a flight and hotel. And the consequences extend far beyond atmosphere and nostalgia. Those dealers weren't just card handlers collecting paychecks. They were ambassadors for the entire Vegas experience. They explained rules to nervous newcomers, making the tables feel accessible rather than intimidating. They paced games for casual players who wanted entertainment rather than rapid extraction. They made gambling feel like a shared adventure among strangers rather than a solitary transaction with a corporation. Without them, the barrier to entry rises. New gamblers feel unwelcome and confused. The pipeline of future customers narrows. The culture that sustained Vegas for decades has no way to reproduce itself. For the thousands of dealers who built careers and lives around these jobs, the shift is devastating on a personal level. Families who moved to Vegas specifically for steady casino work now face uncertain futures. Communities that relied on hospitality wages are watching their economic foundations crumble. The promise that Las Vegas offered to working people, a chance at middle-class stability in an exciting city, has been broken. And here's the question that haunts everything we've discussed in this video. Do you really want to fly across the country, pay $300 a night plus $50 in resort fees, wait in line to check yourself in, drag your own bags to your room, eat $60 buffet food served by exhausted workers, gamble at machines instead of tables, get denied free drinks unless you're betting big enough, pay $20 to access your own money from an ATM, walk past homeless encampments on streets just blocks from billion-dollar casinos, all for an experience that your parents got for a fraction of the price with 10 times the hospitality? That's the trade Vegas is offering in 2025. And increasingly, rational people are deciding it's not worth making. When the human connection disappears, so does the allure. When the service vanishes, so does the justification for premium pricing. When the games get rigged further against players, so does the dream of a lucky break. When the city itself falls apart behind the neon facade, so does any reason to choose Vegas over 100 other destinations. Las Vegas isn't Las Vegas anymore. It's just another overpriced theme park running on autopilot, coasting on a reputation it no longer deserves, extracting money from visitors who arrive expecting magic and leave feeling foolish. Vegas didn't lose its soul overnight. It sold it piece by piece to the highest bidder, traded loyalty for line items, exchanged hospitality for efficiency metrics, sacrificed the long-term dream for short-term quarterly results. Until prices drop dramatically, until service returns meaningfully, until the games become fair again, until the human touch makes a genuine comeback, visiting Las Vegas is a fool's errand. The only people who should go are those who haven't heard the warnings yet or those too stubborn to believe them. The question now is whether Vegas can find its way back. Whether the corporations that control the Strip will realize they're killing the golden goose. Whether new leadership, new thinking, or simple economic desperation will force a course correction. Or whether the dream is simply gone for good, replaced by a hollow simulation that gets emptier and sadder with each passing year. What do you think? Has Vegas lost you forever? Or do you still believe the city can recover what made it special? Drop your story in the comments. And if this video opened your eyes, hit subscribe because we're just getting started exposing the truth about what's really happening in Sin City.